Hi friends, welcome to the Shits and Gigs podcast where we keep the vibe high, the humor gets raunchy, and things get spicy when we talk about food. I'm your host, Meg Davis. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're here because you like to get weird, you like to learn about some cool shit, and you're committed to living your best life. YOLO! I am here to lean into my natural curiosity around why the frick we're here and what makes us special. I am honored to witness so much talent and experience with each guest that I have on my channel. Each guest is invited on because of a simple conversation, a simple connection. I just find it so intriguing that we all live the same 24 hours and yet everyone's human experience is completely different. So if you're into thinking bigger and leaning into people's natural passions and gifts, you're in the right place. Yay! So glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. All right, friends, let's dive into this guest episode with my friend Allan Souza, who is a crazy talented artist who is changing the game of art when it comes to pushing boundaries and getting artists opportunities that typically have a hard time getting into your average gallery. He is the new director of the Black Walls Gallery up in Boston, and he is changing the scene for art in that area. He is partnered with Día Co. The gallery is located right in the Cannabis Mall up in the Boston area. And if you are interested in checking them out, definitely head over there to support the artist because showing up and showing face at the gallery itself is the best way to support the artists that they have showcased at all times. So go check out Black Walls Gallery. It's down street in Boston, Mass, and experience the art firsthand from all of these incredible artists that are pushing boundaries, pushing your buttons a little bit, and evoking emotion in a way that gets you thinking. Lots of talent, lots of things they've got going on over there. It's truly a one-of-a-kind experience when it comes to an art gallery. Definitely go check things out. You will not be disappointed. Let's dive into this episode. I'm your host, Meg Davis, and I'm here today with Allan. He is the brandy new director of the Black Walls Gallery up in Boston. He's paving the scene up there, I feel, with your gallery and then your partnership with Día kind of, or collaboration. Yeah. Seems really cool. I met Allan back in the day at the Mills that we used to live at. It's still his humble abode. I honestly can't picture you not at the Mills.
I'm like,
it's just your like little hobbit hole over there.
I don't feel like moving.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool. I've been able to kind of, even though it's been at a distance the last couple of years since we moved out of the Mills, I've been able to kind of watch your passion work evolutionize in a way, because like for me, I just saw you were like hustling, painting houses and stuff, and like he'd mosey on into the courtyard in his like paint shorts with this coffee mug. He was kind of like a staple at the every day.
Still working.
Yeah, my sister lives right down the road now, like literally the street over. So I'd be lying if I didn't like peek around looking for you moseying around with your coffee mug. It's kind of a thing.
It's not creepy.
I mean, it's a little creepy. But no, you were always a good time at the Mills. We'd play out at the Speed.
Oh yeah.
I was terrible at it, but you guys did great. You were pretty good. But yeah, it was a whole vibe at the Mills. He's still there, but now he's doing big things. So I wanted to invite you on and just catch up and see what you got going on, because it seems to be awesome. To warm things up, why don't we do some like roots knowledge, because you're from Bermuda originally. So
Correct.
When did you move to the U.S. and everything?
When I was very young.
Yeah.
And then I moved back when I was 19, and then I came back here like when you met me, so probably like 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay. So like kind of popping back and forth, and you go back occasionally to see family and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say that.
But yeah, I mean, even when we were at the Mills and everything, you were already very, like, talented artistically and stuff. But when did you first start to kind of discover art or notice that you were, like, interested in it?
Like my last year in Bermuda in, like, 2016.
Okay. And how old were you then, ish?
Well, 37 minus 8, 28, 29.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm 32, so kind of... I feel like that's a very, like, mature age to recognize it.
I'm not mature yet.
I mean, not mature in that sense, but I feel like, I don't know, people are like, oh, I've always loved art since I was, like, a kid, and it's, like, always been a thing for me. But, like, what kind of drew you into the art scene?
I was walking down Front Street, and I walked by the art store, and I saw some paintings, and I was like, I want a painting, but I can't really afford one, so I just bought some paints and figured out that I could do it.
That's crazy. Okay, that's kind of cool.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. We're kind of in that humble, like, life phase because life is tough right now financially. But it's kind of similar in the way, like, we are living a humble lifestyle in the sense, like, we don't get to go out to eat a lot. Yeah. So this past year, we're like, okay, well, like, if we were going to go out to eat tonight, what would we want to eat? And then we just make it at home. It's, like, just kind of similar in that way. But that's pretty cool that that's what sparked, like, diving into it. Because you're, like, really talented to just be like, oh, like, I want to buy a painting, and then you just attempt to paint, and you're like, wow, I'm really good at this.
Well, I didn't say, like, I'm really good at this.
Yeah.
I just figured if I stuck with it, I could do it.
Right. That's awesome. And when did the spark go off as far as, like, monetizing your talents go?
When I realized I could sell them, I guess. But, like...
Was there, like, a certain artist you were following, and you're like, oh, my God, he makes money doing this? Or
I don't never really think of the money.
Yeah.
Because when you think of money when you're creating art, you're not really creating art anymore.
Yeah.
So
right.
If you think of money, then you got to think about, oh, well, what do people want to buy? And
True.
then once you're thinking about something other than what you have in mind, you are, like, already failed, so...
Right. That's an interesting perspective,
when
yeah.
people buy shit, but...
Right.
If I was making shit for people to buy, I would not be able to do the work I want to do.
No, and your work is very different. It's... What would you consider your style? Like, abstract?
I would consider it
real?
my style. I don't
yeah.
really know how
not
to
even like
put it into something.
Well, I like that you're not labeling it. That's kind of cool.
My friend Adam O'Day, who's an artist, says it's probably like lowbrow work with highbrow commentary for all the people that understand art lingo.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that one up.
But that might be the most appropriate classification. It makes sense to me.
Interesting. I'm going to have to look that up later.
I think lowbrow just means like, not taking yourself too seriously and maybe doing things that are not as, safe.
Yeah.
And then with the highbrow commentary, highbrow is more of like fine art scene, so like referring to like the underpinnings of like what
the interpretation.
Well, that's relative to everybody, but like maybe like situational underpinnings or just like what it's about or like little things in there that are like saying something. So
right.
That's not as stupid as the rest of the painting.
Yeah. Well, because what always drew me in about your artwork when we would just, like, hang out and stuff is it's very realist in the way, like, your figures and things are very realistic.
Yeah.
But then it's also not realistic because it's all these, like, abstract colors.
Yeah.
Like, right off the bat. And then it's very random but intentional. A lot of your stuff.
That's fair. That's true.
Yeah. So that's what was really cool that I noticed.
Job.
Why, thanks. I wasn't just fucking in your room hanging at 1 p.m. eating your pasta and not noticing these things that you're doing, you know? That's why you're here, you know? I think you're truly talented in what you're doing, and it's just been neat to see you, like, move out of the just, like, comfort of your own home and, like, create this gallery scene. That's big for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose so. You
gotta give yourself some credit.
Yeah, I typically get used to things very fast, so I don't stop and look to see like what's happening and just keep going. So.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to make people realize too on my channel. It's like you're gifted, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, for real.
I'm aware of this.
I would hope so, but like you should take those moments to stop and think like, wow, like I'm doing the damn thing here.
Well, I'll be doing it when I can share it more with everybody.
Yeah.
That's the problem is getting in front of
exposure
everybody.
is hard, yeah.
I come across a lot of censorship and stuff, so.
Got it, okay. What do you have to be aware of for as far as like the art scene goes with what you're saying?
What do you mean?
Like, is there certain, is it certain aspects of art or you're not allowed to like maybe reference other artists?
Well,
like
just a lot of galleries are just trying to show safe work, like fucking lighthouses and flowers and the flavor of the week.
Yeah.
And when you present them with something that is gonna like, kind of like possibly offend people or make them think a little more than they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
They don't really want to take that chance, in my opinion, because it's not as sellable because the audience is much more niche and much smaller.
Right.
So, and they don't want the flack of like people saying, "Oh, I'm offended, I'm triggered," and all that bullshit. So.
I mean, even just watching from a distance, though, that's what makes your gallery stand out, which I love because it's not like your typical. And I think you're providing a space now for these unique artists that are still pushing the boundaries to actually be showcased.
Well, innately, the facility is 21 plus because it's in a cannabis mall.
Oh yeah, let's get into that. So Black Walls Gallery.
The fact that it's 21 plus,
is huge.
Allows us to, pretty much say like we know no children are coming in here.
Yeah,
so
that's nice.
Anything that maybe you don't want a fucking kid seeing.
No,
you don't have to worry about that.
Right. Yeah, that's nice. So Black Walls Gallery, if you want to follow them on Instagram, it's at Black Walls Gallery, easily enough. It wasn't taken, congrats. That worked out well for you.
That's fate.
Right? And if you want to go visit and check it out, it's at 71 Lansdowne Street in Boston, Mass. So let's dive into what the gallery is all about. Like, is there anything else you wanted to mention about kind of like your mission or your purpose as far as what you're trying to do there?
Yeah, I'm trying to create a space, a gallery, a fine art gallery that's, easier for artists to deal with no bureaucracy or red tape. I don't know how many galleries there are in Boston that are run by an artist and not just a scholarly, educated curator.
That's a very good point, yeah.
Yeah, I know what it's like on the other side of dealing with galleries and submissions and, a bunch of bullshit, like sending you fucking 30 emails a week, like who has time to read all that?
You're like, the purpose is we're getting art on the walls for talented artists. And
that's true. Yeah. And I am, there's a lot of like galleries that, they're not giving everyone equal opportunities. So if the work is good, that's all I care about.
Right.
And we pride ourselves in having a pretty diverse, extremely diverse group of artists.
Yeah, it definitely seems so. Even just from browsing the page and everything, you've had almost every show has been completely different as far as the offerings that the artists are bringing to the table. So it's pretty neat to follow along. And now, you said it's part of the Cannabis Mall, so what's the collab there, or how does that work?
New Dia is the second largest dispensary in the United States.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure. I think the only one bigger than New Dia is in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
And it's a 12,000 square foot facility that is essentially like a boutique mall of cannabis.
That's
There's a
so
laced store in there, and now we have the gallery. So, it's very different from...
What an ideal pair for you.
I suppose so.
Right?
But, it's very different from what any other dispensaries are doing at the moment.
Yeah, and, that's awesome. It's like a whole experience. It's not just a grow facility.
Yeah, so this was all made possible by the Wiedeker Group, who I've known for some time now. And together we realized we had an opportunity to do something very different and unique for the art scene and for the artists and for the people, because galleries, fine art galleries, can be pretty intimidating to people who haven't really been to them before.
Yeah.
Like just going into one and like the way you're looked at when you go in if you don't fit the status quo.
Yeah.
So we're bringing all the artists that show at these fine art galleries, and we're having it where regular everyday people can be exposed to the work.
Yeah, I love that. You're definitely breaking boundaries on several levels.
That for me.
Yeah, breaking boundaries. Yeah, I love that journey for you also. You're really, I really hope you gain that exposure that you're looking for, because you guys are doing something very different. It's definitely unique and one of a kind in at least this area.
Yeah, like, I'm going to be careful about saying I'm looking for exposure. I'm looking for, like, the people to come to the work.
Yeah.
So,
the curious, the ones that are open to
Yeah.
Not being offended and just being open to viewing it for what it is.
Yeah. I'd like to say I could care less about myself, but that's not completely true. But I think it's important for everyone to feel like they can be involved in the fine arts and that they can comfortably go and view it and not feel pressured or to buy anything or not feel like they're being watched or not feel out of place. And I think once we've accomplished this, people are going to catch on and realize exactly how special and different what we're doing is. Because, you know, the fine art scene is very profit driven, which a lot of artists know. So
yeah, I like that you're not putting money at the center of it. That's also very different, which is
anyone
amazing.
who wants to buy shit, I will take your money.
Yes, obviously. But I think because that's not the center or the purpose, people are going to be more drawn to it because they're going to be like, wow, I feel comfortable here. This piece intrigues me. I want it. And it's going to be about nothing else. It's more about falling in love with the piece. Or do you, assuming, I know you guys have, like, obviously all of the different artists rotate through. Are the artists typically there for every showing, or how does that work?
Well, it has been like that. So the first show was in July, and I've been doing larger group shows than I'd like to, just to get it going.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a nightmare throwing a different show every month.
I could imagine.
Shows for about 4 weeks, so.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to start focusing on more intimate, smaller group shows, like, 1 to 3 artists. Mm-hmm. And really focus on them.
Yeah, yeah.
And run shows probably for about 6 weeks.
Okay.
Which is more typical.
Yeah.
6 to 8 weeks is typical for a show to run at a gallery.
Right. Well, and it's cool that you're kind of just taking it one day at a time, and I think even for, like, this podcast, I started it, it's almost a year, on December 8th, actually. And one thing that I wanted to really, like, give myself some grace on is allowing myself to pivot as often and as much as needed, which I think is kind of the approach you have to take with the gallery, too, since it's this brand new thing. And I like that you're already kind of taking the feedback and, like, running with it, because you kind of have to in that sense.
Oh, well, the feedback is not all good.
No? Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of
What are the
people
not
out
liking?
there who are offended and need to let everyone know that they're offended.
About the art that you're showing?
Oh, yeah, about the art that I'm showing, and, it's just a bunch of pussies, in my opinion. I don't really care about them or what they think, but...
I'm going to be careful what I say, but...
Oh, wait, is this a PG-13 podcast?
No,
Because you said
not.
Raunchy.
Oh, no,
okay.
We can swear. Swear.
Yeah,
but,
I don't like to swear, but sometimes swears are appropriate
for sure.
Describing certain people.
I think especially when it comes to things like artwork, people need to realize, like, everyone has a right to your opinion, but it doesn't make anything right or wrong. It's just right or wrong in your mind.
It's not about you. Like, if you're offended, first of all, good.
I didn't paint this for you.
No, well, that's what artwork's supposed to do, is it's supposed to evoke some sort of emotion, and offense is an emotion, so me or the artist or whoever the fuck they're offended about has done their job.
Yeah.
But just because you're offended doesn't mean you should, potentially, like...
Trash their talent.
Well, not trash my talent. I could care less what they think about me, but potentially try to censor something that might move someone else or might mean something completely different to someone else. Because people think they're so important that, just because they're offended or they feel a certain way, everyone else should feel that way. And,
right. Wherein, in a sense, yes, there's going to be people out there that are going to relate to your circumstances, but the large majority is not. So, like, yes, you can have your opinion, you can state it, and feel, like, whatever pride or whatever way you want about your opinion, but...
But also they gotta realize that, not to cut you off, but, like, just because they're offended by something I may have done or someone else may have done, and you want to censor or shut it down, then you could be silencing a voice that's going to do some work that's going to represent you.
Right.
So you have to allow everyone to express themselves individually.
Yeah.
It's not going to resonate with everybody, but, you can't be selfish and just, let me not go any further.
Let me not go down this tangent.
Yeah,
I think everyone just overcomplicates life, is what it is.
Yeah, like if you don't
it's
like
way too complicated.
If you don't like a comedian, like
just don't go.
Fucking listen to them. Like, don't watch their videos.
That's what I
don't
mean.
try to like silence them. You know,
right? Just don't watch it. Just don't go.
You could be silencing yourself when
yeah.
someone doesn't agree with what you want to say. So
right.
You gotta think
we'll
about
end this.
that.
We'll end this topic there, I guess. But
Moving on.
Let's make life less complicated, people. Just like go see the art if you want to go see the art. If there's an aspiring artist out there, you've been doing this for many years, which we're going to take more pride in. If their goal was to become a director of a gallery or open a gallery, what's like a huge lesson learned?
First of all, I would tell them not to fucking do it.
Oh my God. How did I know that was going to be your answer?
It's a lot of work.
A lot of work.
Yeah, and I was told that it was going to be a lot of work by some of my friends, and I didn't believe them. And then...
do I hear it?
It's pretty time-consuming.
Right.
Yeah, they were definitely right.
Yeah.
But, you know, I thought it would be easier than it is. Mm-hmm. So now I just feel kind of obligated because, you know, we've gotten so far that I got to keep it going.
Yeah.
Keep giving artists opportunities.
Right.
You know, and now, for myself, this doesn't help me a whole lot being a curator and an artist because a lot of gallery, I'm looking at it as, like, competition or, like, you know, trying to compete with them at least if they don't view me as competition. So I'm no longer viewed primarily as an artist, but now, like, as a curator. So it also limits the small pool of opportunities I did have.
Gotcha. For getting your pieces into other spaces?
Yeah, because I'm not really taken as seriously as an artist, or, like, I might not be viewed as an artist first, and that's, like, my main concern with the drawbacks of being a director or curator of a gallery. Yeah.
Well, from what I've been seeing, though,
I really don't give too much of a fuck because, you know, people... I just, like, I feel bad for the people who don't want to take a chance. Like, I've had people come out to my studio and from, like, pretty far away from galleries and talk about wanting to work with me and then just start questioning me and, like, what makes you think you can represent a woman since you're not a woman? And all these stupid fucking questions. Like, and I was like, why the fuck did you drive 2 hours down here? Like, if
to tell me that,
Yeah, like,
it's just pointless.
Obviously, like, and he's like, oh, because, you know, no one's doing anything like what you're doing in the Northeast. And, like, I'm like, all right, well, fucking put me in your gallery. Go with your gut instinct.
Right.
You know? And they didn't. And now they're out of business.
Well, I think what's important to note there is, like, you're just offering what you're offering, and if they're cool with it, great. If not, like, you're not going to change who you are, which is important. Especially, do you feel like there's a lot of pressure sometimes as an artist to get what you want? Like, there's that pressure to adjust what you're doing?
If I wanted to make money, I would have to do things a lot differently with my work.
Yeah.
And, like, you make money doing corporate work, like commissions and pieces for like, corporations or murals and stuff, and, you know, not too many people are going to do a mural of, like, a fucking eggplant with a dick.
Yes.
You know?
I'll put some of his work right here so we can get a visual on what his work looks like. It's very unique, but like you said, not everyone's going to be into it.
And not everyone's going to be into that, but I could very easily do some beautiful animals, like some big tigers or a fucking whale.
Just doing your cat series.
Yeah, or something, like, very safe and, increase my sales and appeal to, like, a broader audience.
Yeah.
And sometimes I want to do it. I'm like, fuck, this would make things a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
So, like, the painting I'm working on now, I started doing. I'm like, I'm just going to do some fish. And
yeah.
I'm like, this is fucking boring. There's nothing happening here. It's not saying anything. So I said, fuck it.
Yeah. And you changed things up?
And some other shit. It took me right out of the corporate category.
Yeah, right.
So, as much as I would like to make money and make my life easier.
Yeah.
And, you know, because I work like 70 hours a week.
Yeah,
like,
you work like a dog
just,
for
like,
sure.
it feels fake to me.
I
tried to do safe work, like even my cat series of cat portraits.
Yeah.
Like, I love cats.
Yeah.
But,
his
like,
cat has clothes and
he has
a little hat. It's very cute.
It just, like, it bores me.
Yeah.
It's like...
And honestly, so I was actually going to ask you about this because I was following the cat series. And, like, it's cool because, like, you embrace, like, your colors and, like, that, but it, like, wasn't you. It wasn't your, like, typical work.
It wasn't. It wasn't. You're right. And, like, it could have been if it was that same cat in, like, a scenario.
Like, different scenes,
or, like, and there was other stuff going on. But at the same time, I was throwing a cat show. I really wanted to do a cat show because I didn't think... the Salem Cat Museum in Salem, Massachusetts just opened, and they have a lot of beautiful cat artwork.
Oh, cool.
So besides them, I don't think, and we'll give them a little fucking at Salem Cat Museum, because it's a very nice lady.
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely tag her, and I'll put the link in the description below.
Yeah, besides her, like, I haven't seen someone doing, like, a cat show. So I'm just like... You know, I knew I wouldn't be able to do a huge painting with cats. Like, I really wanted, so I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to do a bunch of
have them all
small
scuba
ones.
diving or whatever.
Like, and, like, they're awesome and they're cool, but, like, they're, like, there's nothing, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just, like, they don't have very much energy to them.
Yeah.
And I like to create a picture, like, an image of something, like an idea or a thought. For myself primarily, but
I was gonna ask about your creative process with how you go about your paintings, because they're very, again, like, random, but then, like, each piece of it is intentional.
I'd say it starts out kind of random, and then I have to
like, fill it in,
and I have to figure out what I'm doing, and why I'm doing what I'm doing, and how to make it make sense to myself, and then that's the time when I get stuck into it for, like, weeks or months. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, you put little definitions in your paintings. What's the story behind that? I remember you used to have a ton of books in your apartment.
Yeah,
that was always interesting.
I'm an avid reader. I love to read.
Yeah.
But you know, I've always been into, like, you know, National Audubon's books and, like, you know, Grey's Anatomy book.
Yeah.
Not the fucking show. Like, the book the show's named after.
Yeah.
And I've always...
Yeah, I remember you used to have, like, a ton of medical books. Like, that was kind of your niche. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just... If you look in Grey's Anatomy, like, it has a lot of, like, Latin names and, like, family... Well, not really Grey's Anatomy, but, like, the National Audubon's book has, like, you know, phylum... family, kingdom, like, all, you know, scientific data, and I felt like it would be interesting and important for people to like, see that this is also, like, a living thing. Like, it just kind of, like, solidifies that it's unique and special, and it also gives people, like, an idea of the reason why it's in the painting. Yeah. Because I'll put a title of what it is, and it might not necessarily be, like, humpback whale if it's a humpback whale, you know. It could be, like, you know, influencer or, like, influencee or, like, and then it kind of gives people a start on trying to interpret or understand what
break down the painting. Yeah, for sure. And I think that is also pretty cool because you're also, like you mentioned, trying to... be a gallery that funnels people in that aren't necessarily maybe comfortable with the art scene yet. Yeah. So, like, as an introductory gallery, as the director, it's kind of cool. In your work, you're, like, almost walking people through how to interpret what's going on. It's kind of neat. In a way.
Can you elaborate? Is that a question or a statement?
No, a statement. Okay. Meaning, like, it's cool, like, your painting specifically, as the director of the gallery, like, help people, like, look at a whole, but then also all the little pieces, if, like, your definitions are almost walking them through the painting.
Yeah, pretty much, and, you know, I'll see people looking at it.
Yeah. Well, because some work probably for me, if I were to, like, go into a gallery, which I have been to, like, very few galleries. I need to expand that experience a little bit. We've been trying to get to you, but with a kid now, it's tough to go up to Boston for a night. But anyways, I feel like depending on the work, I almost wouldn't know what to think about or what to consider as far as the meaning behind it.
I never really know exactly what the meaning is. Yeah. Like, not all the time, but I know that it's something that came to me and that
it just
felt like
right.
I need to, you know, put in.
Yeah.
Like, understanding the meaning of something is something that can evolve because you change, so... Right. You know, pulp and circumstances, like, just naturally meanings and your interpretations of things are going to change as you do.
Yeah. Nice. Do you happen to recall any, like, big growth moment for you?
Growth?
Yeah. Or how did this even come about with being the director of the gallery? We didn't talk about that yet. So what kind of, was it one of those things that kind of just fell into place for you, or did you actively search?
So my friends, Jordan and Mike, running New Dia's marketing and basically all their social media, and they approached me about coming and checking out a space, and we just talked and figured out that, you know, we had an opportunity to do something very different and very unique, and that caters to the people and them seeing artwork, and it was just kind of went very smoothly and it just happened. Well,
that's awesome. I feel like when something's like meant to happen, that's often how it unfolds. It's just, like, it just works, it just happens. And
I wouldn't say that, because I meant to be in a fucking Lamborghini. And still got
I mean, it's not impossible.
No,
not impossible. But yeah, that's pretty cool that it just happened for you. I love that. All right, let's dive in. Is there anything else you want to mention about the gallery or the art scene? Any message that you want to give to people as far as looking into the scene? Yeah, I'd like to give
people a message.
Oh, God. Here we go.
A lot of people will just fucking message me and be like, oh, my God, I want to support you. How can I support you?
Yeah,
or like,
let's
blah,
hear
blah,
that.
blah. And most of it feels like a bunch of bullshit. Maybe half of it, or like slightly less than half, like 45%. But, you know, people want to talk about supporting the arts and all that. If you want to support the arts, you can follow Black Walls Gallery on Instagram. You can attend our free openings and receptions. Come check out the work, support the artists. Like, there's no better way or more effective way to support the arts than to come to Black Walls Gallery, because we are for the artists.
Right.
We are making it extremely easy for the artists to get in front of the people. We are making it extremely easy for the people to see the artists. So if you want to support the arts, don't go to fucking SOA or, like, you know, some other establishment gallery. Come and support what we're trying to do, which is getting fine art in front of everybody so that everybody can enjoy it.
Right. And if you're easily offended, just stay away.
No, if you're easily offended, I encourage you to come and fucking open up your mind.
Okay.
You know, try to fucking get out of that shit, because life is tough, and
that's
the
a very
world's
good
not
point.
going to cater to you, so...
I love what you're saying right now.
I hate to be so coarse, but...
Yeah, but that's what makes you different, and that's what's attractive about your brand and, like, everything that you're doing. All right, so at the end of every guest episode, I just started doing this thing where I ask some, like, perspectives questions, because I think it's extremely curious that we all have 24 hours in a day, but all of our life paths are completely different.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously the whole conversation kind of caters to that idea, but these questions specifically I thought could just, like, allow us to dive a little deeper and get to know Allan Souza. So is there anything outside of the arts that you feel is, like, your natural born talent or gift?
That's a fucking good
question.
Well,
and I really sent him these ahead of time.
Well, I didn't read them.
You told me. You can take a second, though.
Because it don't feel like a real conversation.
No, I get that.
I know all the questions you're going to ask.
Right.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah.
Is
there anything outside of art that you feel is your natural born gift or talent?
I would say no.
No?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I do enjoy talking to people.
Yeah. I was going to say your voice is kind of a talent and a gift in the way that you don't filter yourself.
Yeah. Well, I don't filter myself because I pride myself in being genuine.
Right. So maybe genuineness is your natural born gift or talent.
Yeah, but that kind of sucks.
That doesn't sound fucking cool.
Yeah, no.
My gift is being genuine, which is a good thing, but it definitely doesn't sound cool, I guess.
I'd say that my gift is not compromising.
Yeah.
And and sticking to like who I am
Yeah,
and
staying
what
true.
I'm trying to do.
Right.
Because unfortunately, I do know quite a few artists that are, making art to, if it's their way of making money, yeah, cool, like I get it, but like making art to sell art.
Seeing
And,
like artists maybe potentially
don't get me
lose
wrong,
themselves
I
a little.
really would like to sell my art, but
Yeah.
I just feel like when you're thinking of sales or making something that people are gonna like, especially making something that people are gonna like, you're thinking, well, people like this. Like,
right.
You don't know yourself enough to be considered an artist, because an artist is somebody who's gonna be themselves 100% of the time,
right,
and not worry about what anyone else thinks of them.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Once you start caring about other people's perception of you, then like you're not an artist. You're just a fucking regular person who can draw or paint.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So.
Shoot, that got deep. I like it.
I don't think so.
Only truths. Only truths. What is your number one fear?
Being dead.
Okay. I mean, valid fear.
Yeah. Waking
valid
up dead.
Fear. Yeah. And I think is that also kind of a part of why you just like are so real with how you live, because you never know when is going to be your last day. You're just going to live it up every day.
Well, I think I'm real with how I live, because what's the alternative?
Right.
Trying to be like somebody else.
Yeah.
So.
100%. I love that. And last thing, what is something you've experienced that has shaped the way you show up?
Show up what? To like every day?
Or yeah, like show up, like you continue to show up as like your best self, or just the way you show up as a person, even. Like your standard for living.
Because I know how ineffective it is to live chaotically or in an undisciplined state. So I try to be as disciplined as possible so that I can be as effective as possible. And discipline leads to, happiness and success.
Right, that
and
regularity.
Sloth leads to, your downfall. So,
get rid of that fluff. You can get rid of the fluff, looking good, slimming down.
No, I actually gained fucking.
What do you mean? You were doing so good.
15 pounds, like in the last 4 months, because because of a lack of discipline.
All right.
So,
you gonna get back into it?
I'm back into it.
Good. All right, why don't we shout out the upcoming exhibit that you have going on? Anything in the books yet, or?
I'm working on something right now.
Okay, so
right now we have a small work show up through December, where we have one wall, everything's under $500, and one wall, everything's under $1,000.
Okay.
Try to just, make the work accessible to people for the holidays.
Yeah, that's fun.
So they can give the gift of art.
I love it.
And I have a pretty big artist coming in about probably January.
Nice.
So I'm just preparing and working on everything for that.
All right. So best way to support is obviously follow at Black Walls Gallery. Get in the door to go see the art. And if you want to follow Allan personally, you can follow him on Instagram at ALZ_next.
Only if you want to.
Only if you want to. No drama on his page, because he'll let you know about it. All right. Thanks for catching up. Super proud of all the things that you got going on. And you're doing big things. Yeah. All right. Thanks, man.